Welcome to the Eli Farney Show. Hi, welcome back to the Eli Farney Show. I'm very thankful to every person that engaged with this, every person that found a little bit of value in this, showed me some encouragement. All of that is really, really appreciated more than you know. If this is your first time, my name is Eli. I'm a 22-year-old college student recording a podcast in his closet. I kind of want to keep saying that until it changes. Maybe episode 100, I'll be like, hey, I'm Eli, as you can see him in a studio. So, last time I talked about dreams. I talked about dreams because ever since I was a kid, dreams have affected the way I live my life. I've always been open to this idea of a god or of something more than just kind of the trivial life because every night from the day that I can remember, I have traveled the cosmos or I have surfed the multiverse reality, and I've had control and power that I can't explain. And I wake up here every day, and I'll be honest, sometimes what I experience here isn't as majestic or grand as what I can experience in my dreams. And I remember being a kid, I'd watch like a TV show like Avatar, The Last Airbender, or something with a real story, and characters to connect to. And then I would dream about that. I would dream about being in that world or just not worried about the daily tasks of life or the big picture stuff of getting a job and working towards retirement when I'm 14 years old or younger. I would dream about just living in the moment of surviving and accomplishing a task and being there for your friends, and I guess it created a lot of cognitive dissonance for me. I always kind of wondered, why am I here? What is so special about being here? I obviously can go or have gone almost anywhere. And yet, I'm here. And I know that there are people that love me more than I can even comprehend. I mean, I was born with 3 older siblings and 2 parents that have always shown me unconditional love. I was on a vacation a while ago and I made that comment to my dad as I was like, you have always shown us unconditional love. You've always given at least me the impression that no matter what, you would love me. Even if that's not something that he fully felt and received from his dad. What makes me so lucky? And I met a lot of people who have gone through a lot. And I've had my fair share, but some people go through a lot. So it just makes you wonder, like, why me? What am I supposed to do with this hand that I've been dealt? It's a lot of pressure from myself, honestly. I mean, I, in some ways, love myself so much, and I see so much potential for myself. I see the whole world for myself. And sometimes I also believe that I'm standing in my own way, and I am my biggest enemy and my biggest disappointment. My dad told me something the other day. He was talking about, you're a human being, not a human doing. And he said, Eli, all the things that you want to be are not accomplished through what you do, but simply by realizing that that's what you already are. And I looked around and I thought about it. I mean, I've been committed to acting for at least 4 years. I started freshman year of high school. Of course, some people are way earlier, but for a long portion of my life, this is what I've wanted to do. And I just started to analyze myself, and I thought, I have the training, I have the ability, I've got the equipment, I've got an agent, I've got a website, I've got a podcast now, I've got connections and friends and guidance. I mean, I really have basically everything that I could need or want, and I'm still me. I am still me every day. Waking up, going to bed, I'm still that dreamer. No matter what happens in my life, no matter how much my life changes, from worrying about school and Christmas and hanging out with your friends to paying next month's rent and making it to such and such's wedding, and still me. A couple of nights ago, I had so many dreams, an insane amount of dreams. It's a blessing and a curse. My mom even told me, she was like, I'm jealous of how you dream. I'm jealous that you experience these crazy vivid things and can remember them. I'm so blessed for it. I wouldn't change a thing. It is interesting to me how much it can be a double-sided. Sometimes it's not even about what I experience. It's just the sheer volume of experience somewhere else when, I'm thinking that I need to be resting, or I need to relax and have peace and allow that day to flow through me. It's crazy looking back over my life how many times I've had such a mixed relationship, because sometimes I have memories when I was a kid that I basically only wanted to sleep. As soon as I woke up, I was like, I wish I could be tired enough again to go back to sleep and just keep dreaming. And there's times when you're so tired that you're trying to stay awake, and you close your eyes and you slip back into the nightmare, and you're like, no. I told my girlfriend the other day, I was telling her how I can wake myself up from dreams. I close my eyes really, really tightly, and I squeeze them as hard as I can. And I start to envision my room, what it looks like, what it feels like to be Eli looking up at my ceiling fan. I count to 3. 1, 2, 3. And I spread my eyes open wide as hard as I can. And suddenly I'm out of the dream, back in my room. I had this one particular experience where I was pulling myself out of a dream, and long story short, in the dream I was up on some kind of battle tower or defensive structure. I could see just hordes of enemies coming towards me, and I was scared. So I went to wake myself up from the dream. I'm like, I gotta get out of here before anything bad happens. As I do that, I would count 1, 2, 3, and I open my eyes. In a circle of vision, in the center of my vision, I can see my room. And faintly, surrounding it on the outside is the dream. Kind of that orange sand and yellow sun. But inside is this dark circle of my room. And I'm like, I don't know what muscles I'm flexing, but I am like intensely trying to stay in my room and away from the dream. I barely push my way through, and then I'm in my room and I'm safe. And I'm like, thank God. You know what I mean? I made it through that dream. I look around, things look all right to my left, things look all right to my right. And then I look up on my wall, I've got these little decorations. It's like a basketball, a baseball, and a football. But the baseball is not a baseball at all. It's like a face. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, what the hell? And that face starts talking in the most commanding, godly voice that I guess my subconscious can imagine. And it's like, Eli. And then I woke up again. And I had a little bit of sleep paralysis when I woke up. So I'm like awake from God talking to me and then I can't move, and then I finally can move, and I was like, what the shit? That was a wild time. So waking yourself up from dreams is not foolproof. Alright, I'm feeling intellectually warmed up and I'm ready to start thinking about something. Don't forget that this podcast is intended to be just a little bit of brain food for you. So I saw something called the egg theory. My roommate showed it to me. It was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. I mean, just because to me, I've told you guys about how I dream. I believe some weird shit, okay? I mean, when I was a kid, I wanted to believe in all the Egyptian mythologies and Greek mythologies and everything. And even though I was raised pretty Christian, I was just still accepting of everything because I've seen everything. I mean, I've seen worlds outside of this one, so it was just so easy to say, well, yeah, I mean, all of it is in some way truth. So seeing something like this, it stimulated that spiritual part of me without being necessarily something religious. And if you've never heard about it, you can find it on YouTube or somewhere else, but essentially the idea goes like this. Let's say that you died. You died and you met another consciousness, right? And for all intents and purposes, that consciousness was God. And God tells you that this is not your first life, that you've actually lived many lives, and that all of your lives are essentially gathering experiences that stay a part of your soul. And your soul is more gigantic and beautiful than you can imagine. And a teeny tiny piece of it is crammed inside of you right now. God says that if you stayed in that place with them, you could spread all the way out and experience your full self. But there's really no point in doing that, because you're going to be reincarnated and live again. Well, you think to yourself, if I'm going to be reincarnated, perhaps I've seen myself, or perhaps I lived alongside myself. Yes, God tells you, you have. In fact, that's really the only thing that's going on. You are everybody. You are yourself, your mom, your dad, Hitler, even Jesus, and all the people that followed him too. You are essentially a spiritual creature living out every single human life, gathering experiences. Everything you do good for other people, you do good to yourself. Everything you do bad against other people, you do bad to yourself. And the whole point of it all, the whole point of living life and existing, is to grow and mature. That essentially, we are God, and we will grow into it. Once we've lived out every single human lifetime there is to live, we will know everything. We will hold every single experience. And for all intents and purposes, we will be God. I know that was not the best explanation. Hopefully you got some bits and pieces of what is going on there. I encourage you to look up some other videos that are very well done about it if you want to know more. That whole thing, maybe, this isn't some conspiracy theory that I hardcore believe or think other people should believe. It's just one of those thought-provoking things that says, if that were true, what doors might that open? If there was some level of truth to that, how might I add that to my realm of thinking and knowledge in the way I treat people? Because if everyone else really were me, How much of a right do I really have to judge? Say my sister does something I don't like. Well, either in the past or future, I am her or was her, so there's really no one to complain about other than myself. And if I look out and see so much beauty and wonder in everyone else, then I actually see that about myself. And I help myself, and I love myself, and I guide myself and teach myself and learn from myself. It's interesting because we are both a collective and a complete individual. Because even in that theory, somehow you have the ability to immerse yourself as just you. Where for however long you are going to be on this earth, you are not everything. You are not some spiritual creature. You're just you. So that you can see for yourself what it's like. What it's like to see yourself reflected in all of these shapes and colors. To experience the joys and the highs and the lows. The heartbreak and the grief and the pain and the joy and the love and the comfort. I do believe that what we truly are encompasses something far greater than words have the ability to explain. I bet it's pretty special for each of us, but there's something in you that just knows. Whatever your question, whatever you're dealing with, some part of you just knows. And only you know. No one else tells you, no one else confirms it or denies it. You just learn to listen to you. Because that's enough. You are enough. Thank you guys so much for being a part of that. I'm really starting to fall in love with this little podcast thing. It's nice to have some time to just think and be free and be open. Feel free to engage, seriously, please do. Whether it's a comment or if you got my number, just shoot me a text. Ask me questions, just let me know what you want to hear about, or just feel free to be a part of the conversation. So, thank you guys. Happy Sunday. Have a great day.